Well, our little mudslide down here on the S-curve slid off again. And so I'm gonna jump in the excavator. I'm gonna grab my smooth blade bucket as well, take both of them down with me, and just kind of fix up a couple of spots. It's not the same slide that came off the other day, but it's right next to it. It's the same area. There was a spot that was starting to break loose a little bit that was about, I don't know, 10 or 15 feet up from the original one that I dug out. So what I'm gonna do is, I've got a pile of boulders down at the bottom of my driveway there, and I'm gonna grab 5 or 6 of those, and I'm gonna leapfrog them down the road and work them down there, and then I'll dig away some of that and stab 5 or 6 boulders in that base of that for now. We planned on doing that this summer to kind of build up a boulder retainer there to hold it back and keep it from sloughing off anymore. But it's too soupy to really build it, so what I'm going to do is just set a row or two to keep it from coming down and cascading out into the road and stuff, and try to just support it. We're mostly there on the runoff stuff. It's not going to get crazy for too much longer, but it's supposed to start getting really warm the next 2 days, 3 days. So there's a good chance we could have some extra stuff happening. So we just want to be prepared for it. The biggest challenge that we're going to be facing with this runoff is trying to make sure that these ditches stay open and flowing. As the water comes down through them, there's enough turbidity in the water that it tends to silt in. Anytime there's a spot that it kind of flattens out a little bit, that sediment will settle and build up, and then it will start to flow out across the road. So I'm going to have to just monitor this and make sure that the ditch banks stay high and the silt gets cleared. This is coming off so muddy and so thick and such a slurry that it's going to just fill in the ditch as it settles, and as it finds a catch point or a low spot, it's going to build up and the sediment's going to fill in and do that. So what I've done is pushed that away and created a pit there that's full of water, some mud, but a lot of water, and it's going to change direction. So any sediment that's coming is going to pool up into that direction, and then the water can come off of the top. Not too worried about the road here. There's plenty of aggregate and compaction here. This little soupy, sloshy stuff will dry up before the day's over. By this afternoon, it'll be dry. There isn't much I can do up here at this point. You can see that this was the first section that sloughed off that I dug away with the tractor, and we had this little bit that kind of settled out too. This is pretty well evened off and it's going to be fine. I don't want to keep pulling this soil out of here and pitching it off the other side, because I'm just going to lose my whole hillside here. I just need it to stabilize enough that it will stop. So I stopped this boulder in here so that if anything else here comes off, it will pool up behind and give it at least a little bit of a catch point, and then it can still drain through the clay over here. You can see how soupy all this is. So I'm just going to let this soup drain. The moisture will come out of it and the dirt will settle up. We've got plenty of room to pass by it to drive. These boulders are just here to give some weight and ballast to counteract the weight of the water. There's still so much moisture behind it, and that's why I tried to give it a cut and a shape for it to get it over here for this, all this hydraulic pressure. The weight of all that moisture in the hillside is pushing on this. What I'm gonna have to do is, once it drains enough and dries out a bit, then I'll come in here and I'll cut this back and I'll stack in some boulders. But I'm gonna need dirt to fill back in. So that's why I don't want to keep pitching it off the side. It really needs to dry out before I do too much. I'm just gonna keep churning it and churning it. The more you do that, the more it turns into slurry and soup. By this weekend, it's supposed to be like close to 80 degrees, so it means there's going to be a lot of these kind of things to watch out for. Just got to manage it for a second. It was really warm yesterday, and man, the snow's been melting really fast and hard. You can see across the way, that south-facing slope is completely clear. But you can see down here, see all that water running across the meadow over there, making its way to the creek. And we're on the shade side of the mountain, so we still have a bunch of snow, but it's melting off fast. I need to go look at a few key spots on our road, and then down below in the S-curve to see if that has sloughed off or if it stayed in place. I know we've got one spot on our road that has sloughed off enough that it's forcing the water out onto our road, so I need to fix a couple of spots there. I'm sure I just need to take the excavator over there, but let's go take a look and see. It's new. We've never had it coming here, but it's coming off of the surface up here, cascading down and softening this edge. It's left in a little bit, and there's a little bit more that'll come down, but not a big deal yet. I might, the problem, if I come in here and dig away this dirt that's left near the trench, then it no longer holds the rest of it up there and it all just keeps coming. So I don't want to dig it away too badly. This one we saw yesterday and we could see that it was starting to undercut a little bit near this juniper tree. It was starting to get cut under and fall away a little bit. And so we knew it was coming. I'm not going to take away too much, and I'm not even going to bother taking the tree out yet. So I'll just dig out some of this stuff here and get it opened up so the flow stays in the ditch. Leave as much material there as I can. Now that we've officially made a hot mess of everything, we've contained the water. Got nothing but blue sky, so it's going to warm up, it'll dry out, and everything on the surface of the roads will dry right up. So there's two main channels that flow down here. Up by this big tall juniper tree, it comes down through here. There's kind of a natural depression right there. It comes down, and all of that is moisture from way up above me, out kind of up on the hill farther. And it comes around, channels down here. And so everything else that's coming across my place comes down that ditch, and this is where it exits. And then it enters this little ditch here and flows for about another 80 feet or 100 feet over here, crosses the road. We just got home from going to see my boys, and we found ourselves with the washout. I'm not even sure where that tree came from. This tree wasn't in this group of trees. I'm pretty sure that tree used to be up there by the fence line. Oh no, it was there at that fence line, and it came down and washed down the road and slid down into here. So that's cool. Our fence is washed out up there. Right up here where that little waterfall bit was coming from. Washed the fence out underneath. Cool, man.
Trouble, stay away from my door. Trouble, stay away from my door. Trouble, go back, don't come around no more. Trouble, stay away from my door. Never stay away from my home. Never stay away from my home. Never go back and leave my soul alone. Never stay away from my home. Never come around me no more. Never come around me no more. Never go back and walk on out the door. Never come around me no more. Set and keep me free from your spell. Set and keep me free from your spell. Set and go on back up to the gates of hell. Set and keep me free from your spell. Trouble, stay away from my door. Trouble, stay away from my door. Trouble, go back, don't come around no more. Trouble, stay away from my door.
Both Rogers driveways are gone. Are they? Water's going over the top of both of them. I'm gonna go switch my battery, and I'm gonna check the mortar since I couldn't see it from where I was at. But the water goes straight down, and it looks like it's catching the ledge right above your horse trailer, and so it's not all dumping in there. Somewhere right there, it just kind of dissipates. Here, there's a bunch of water that I think it's okay. Nothing's eroding away down there. Sounds good. We'll just give it time, as long as it dry out. Yeah, it'll dry out in 2 days, and it'll played out just fine. So I think it's okay. Keep dusty. Yep. Yep. Yeah. So, okay, buddy. got all that cleaned up. So now we're gonna go check up higher, down lower, see the results, see what's draining, and make sure everything's okay. Make sure everything looks good and everything's going where it should be with the increase of water flow. This is all okay here. Where that water was coming down from across my driveway and brought that tree, it channels right up here where this horse trailer is. And it looks like it all went into the ground before it could really go anywhere else. You can see it had come down right there, that mud wash. But it's all pretty well clear. Not too bad. I'm gonna go check a couple other spots. We came down to check our neighbor's driveway culvert. As we came home, we could notice that it was starting to get washed out pretty good. And I wanted to be sure that he was aware of what was happening here. He doesn't live close by, so I just wanted to kind of check on it and give him an update if I could. It's washed out quite a ways, and it's probably going to keep washing out. There's definitely no question that all of us up here have got areas on our property that's going to need a lot of attention this spring once the runoff's done. For now, we're just going to monitor everything, fix any problems as they arise, and then wait for summer to be here.